What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this past weekend, we actually had another playtest for Splitgate 2. And I gotta be real with you guys, I have not seen the community this happy for a decent amount of time now, and I genuinely think that the Splitgate devs have found a really good formula to get everybody kind of on the same page again, and they can push forward with this to hopefully get some decent success when it comes to Splitgate 2 and relaunching the overall game. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before going dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget subscribing to that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and also a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll also be streaming this Sunday as well as a little bit of an oddball stream, since obviously, Arc Raiders is going to be having a playtest or basically a stress test for their servers this weekend. So if you guys are interested and you want to catch any of those live streams, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I went ahead and dove on in. It was a little harder for me to get a decent amount of playtime because they literally dropped it the second Battlefield 6 went live. So it wasn't, the easiest thing for me to dive deep into, but I did get a little bit of playtime. I got to see what it was all about. And I'll be real, along with the rest of the community, I am very happy with the, decisions they have made with the overall experience. Now, of course, a lot of stuff has stayed the same, like the extra portal placements, removing the factions, but of course, in this specific playtest, we were just playing classic Splitgate, so there's no factions regardless. But, in previous playtests, that's their overall goal, no factions, basically having open weapons for everybody, open gear for everybody, so on and so forth. And of course, you guys already know my opinions about these things. I personally enjoy the no factions now. It took me a little bit of time because I did enjoy the factions for a little while. I thought it added some nice team play, but the more I play these playtests, it doesn't make me that salty anymore. And also, of course, when it comes to the additional portal placements, I say it a trillion times, and I'll say it a trillion times more. It's hard to go back to the base game after you play with the additional portal walls. It really is, They are so well placed, and seriously, the devs did a phenomenal job with amping up the portal wall placements on these maps without making it too overwhelming to, make it just too chaotic for casuals to hop in and try to get a general understanding of how this game works. So, obviously, those factors are phenomenal. But the devs also went ahead and messed with the time to kill again. If you guys remember, they made it pretty dang long in the previous playtest. And you guys remember my personal opinion. It was interesting. It grew on me as time has gone on, but it was still very overwhelming. And it just made the gunfights very extended, very long, and it felt like you were really at a disadvantage when you were in a 1v2 situation. I liked the concept, the idea of extending the time to kill, because it allows you to actually portal around and do some portal flanks more fluently without dying in 2 bullets. But again, the counter of this is that if you're going up against good players who are stacking, working as a unit, sticking together, if you get stuck alone, you're screwed. I mean, there's absolutely no way of working around it, unless, of course, you are a portal god. And it was a bit overwhelming, but they went ahead and found a middle ground for the time to kill now. So it's right between where it was before with the extremely long time to kill and where it's at in the current beta build of Splitgate 2, where it's pretty dang fast. And I'll be honest, this is the sweet spot, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said before, I was really trying to force myself to adjust my muscle memory to what it was the first time with a very long time to kill, and it was hard for me to force myself to do such. But this is just perfection. You still have those moments where you go up against 2 people, and it's a little iffy here and there, but it's hard to tell because, again, in these playtests, you're versing like some of the best players, probably the top 1%ers. So a lot of the time, you're versing very competitive players. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're very organized. They're good at the game. So it's kind of hard to tell if the time to kill is good or bad unless you're versing, the mass audience of players out there, which I hope that they're going to be able to get these playtests on console soon, which they said they're actively trying to do. So fingers crossed at some point down the road, console players will be able to participate in these playtests. I'm really hoping this is the case because it's hard for console players to really give good feedback if they can't actually play it. They can watch it and they can listen to opinions like mine, but that's not actually playing it and coming up with their own opinions and their own ideas without listening to others, So hopefully at some point in time they could do that. But where the time to kill is now, it's the perfect in-between. It's absolutely outstanding. It allows you to still make those nice portal plays. You don't have to worry about dying in 2 bullets, but it's not so extended that for, first and foremost, a newcomer to come in who doesn't have the best accuracy, they're not going to be thrown off and said, oh, I can't do this. I have to land way too many shots. It's overwhelming. I don't like this. And 2, when you're going up against a couple of players who are stacking, it's not the end of the world. It's still a little overwhelming from time to time. But as I stated, I think if you're not versing the top players, and this is actually something that goes public to the overall audience, it will be a little bit more easier to basically digest. They also added in, as you can see right here, Abyss from Splitgate 1. This is phenomenal. I can't tell you how happy I am to see this within Splitgate 2. It's just freaking awesome. Everybody was begging to go ahead and play on this map. Every single time a game ended in a playtest, the whole chat erupted saying, "Where's Abyss? What's going on? Why can't we play it?" Boy, oh boy, let me tell you, it is perfection within Splitgate 2. And I gotta be real with you guys. I really genuinely hope that maybe, possibly, they'll add this into the Splitgate 2 beta, sometime down the road. I know I might be asking for too much, but boy, oh boy, any update would be so welcome to the Splitgate 2 beta. I know the devs are working very hard on the relaunch of this game, so obviously there's basically zero priorities on putting out any updates into the core game right now until relaunch comes around. But if they could just get one map in there, that would be a decently good thing to bring some players back into the experience. A lot of people are just kind of putting it down, and rightfully so. I get it, and I'm sure they're going to come back when the relaunch happens. I've already seen a ton of people say they're just waiting for, the launch to happen so they can hop back into the experience and actually grind for something. But boy, oh boy, I feel like this would do wonders for a lot of the people still hanging on to, the base game until things turn themselves around. And adding in an additional map would just add something nice. It would add some flavor to the game. And as I stated, it's perfect, especially with all the verticality. Not many maps within Splitgate 2 have a lot of verticality. Splitgate 1 had many, many more. And I will tell you right now, it's shocking. I didn't expect it. Although I played it back in Splitgate 1, I didn't expect it with Splitgate 2 because everything is just so flat in Splitgate 2. Nothing wrong with it. I'm fine. I'll still play it. I still enjoy it. But the verticality really threw me for a twist at first. And then I got back into the flow and I'm like, oh man, I missed this type of Portal gameplay. I was actually nervous to you won't even see me Portal that much because I'm nervous to Portal with all this verticality. But I'm telling you, once you get the hang of it again, it feels so fresh and nice. And I'm hoping that when they do release new maps for Splitgate 2, they'll kind of keep this map layout in mind. Not this one specifically, but adding some more verticality to the maps in general will be really nice. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest factor of this overall playtest, they went ahead and removed the portal limit once again. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I already made up my mind before hopping back into this playtest. I never made a video about it. But when I played the first playtest when they had a portal limit, I didn't think it was the end of the world. I truthfully did not. I played it, I got used to it, and I agree with the devs, it might have taken a little too much thinking power for a lot of people. But when I went back to the base version of the game, and I had the freedom to just portal around wherever I wanted, I didn't have to worry about any limit. I could just do whatever I want, flank however I want, and just move from portal to portal. I instantly hated the portal limit system. It didn't take me much. The problem I had is that I didn't play the base version of the game after I made my my Splitgate 2 playtest review when they went ahead and added that limit. I never went back and tested the normal version. I just kind of went off my base memory, my knowledge of how it felt. I really should have went back and felt it again before making that video because going back to it, I enjoy the freedom so much more. The freedom is the way it should be. The game is made for portaling. Yeah, they could try to rearrange it in a different way. They might be able to find some type of middle ground for casuals and sweaty players. But at the end of the day, I don't think there should be a limit because, as I stated many times before, if I wanted to play an arena shooter, I would probably go to the 50,000 other arena shooters that are already out there, right? I come to Splitgate because I want a portal. That's it. That's the main reason. The gunplay is good. The movement's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a very smooth-feeling game. But the biggest selling factor is portals. And I think that taking the limit off is phenomenal. And coming back into this brand new playtest, I can double confirm that this is the way to go, especially with all the new changes, the additional portal walls, the medium time to kill, removed factions. Yes, having a limited portal limit is definitely the way to go moving forward within Splitgate 2. But ladies and gentlemen, overall, I'm extremely happy with this playtest right here. I think this is a huge step in the correct direction, and from what I can tell within the community, a lot of people are happy with this one. It's been tons of mixed opinions from every single playtest they have put out, and rightfully so. That's the whole point of these playtests, to go ahead, throw things out there, just throw darts at a wall, and just see what sticks, and have the community react. I mean, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. So the community has been doing a very good job with that, right? But for the first time, I am seeing a lot of positive feedback. I have seen maybe like a couple of people who are a little iffy with it still, But overall, this is the direction we want to be pointing. So, 1047, you guys are doing a great job here. Thank you guys for putting in a lot of this work and effort, continuously putting out more play tests, and not giving up. You know what I'm saying? So many different dev teams would just say, screw all of this stuff. Just, keep, cramming in microtransactions, milk up everybody. No, like, who else would go back to the drawing board to try to craft a game that the community truly wants? This is absolutely phenomenal. And I think that what they're doing right here is perfect. As long as they can keep this type of foundation while moving forward, I think that the community will just get happier and happier. And again, as I stated before, we have to try to find a way to get console on board, because it's just not fair to host these play tests with PC players only. You have a massive market who would probably gladly test out these play tests and give you their feedback, and all they can do is just look and listen. And yes, you can still give feedback that way, but it's not the best feedback. The only good feedback is feedback of players who actually tried it and formed an opinion. Just hearing it is not good enough, You have to play it. So we really have to get these players into these play tests so they can give it a shot themselves, and then I think we'll really be cooking. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post twice here, once at 8 a.m. and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch. Don't forget, this Sunday I will be streaming as well. But those streams usually go up around like 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are interested, you want to chat it up with me or hop into the open lobbies, find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.